Hi, and welcome to the End of Sprint2 demo for DigitalDriver. So before we get into the demo, I figured I should position kind of what DigitalDriver really is, how it came about, and why we're actually doing the thing. So actually, it was a joint effort between R3PI, TPI, and Explorer to create a fleet and driver-centric mobile platform that places useful cognitive information in the hands of the drivers, making it easy to efficiently manage their day and all the duties they need to do while supporting the ultimate goal of increasing driver retention. Now, that's a big mouthful, but really it's the target of all drivers and all fleet companies. Is there's a huge turnover in drivers. We need to make sure that we're focusing on how we keep the good drivers and how we understand which drivers maybe aren't so good and maybe let those folks go. If you take a look at why we're actually doing this, it's going beyond just an e-log, because if we just did an e-log or focused on what we call the Electronic Data Logging Act, which is coming into effect in November 12th of 2017, we would be competing with 30 or 40 other different products out there. But what we're doing is actually adding cognitivity into the cab. It's going well beyond just that e-log, because we're also integrating the FMCSA integration scores. We're putting telemetry data in, and we're a one-stop shop for the driver to the TMS system integration. So how are we actually doing this? We're doing this by leveraging the full depth of the Solera cloud, tying behavior analytics, telemetry, and the FMCSA data to help our driver retention scores, to leverage the Explorer and TPI FMCSA and driver analytics engines, and pulling telemetry from the TMS systems or J39 BLE devices. The SOBD is currently being worked on so that it will handle the J1939 standard and hopefully will be integrated maybe in a 1.5 timeline. If we look at what we're releasing in DigitalDriver Release 1, it's parking and scheduling, hours of service, trips with automated brakes, FMCSA driver scorecard, document scanning, secure logins, telemetry agnostic, dispatching, messaging, and driver training. All the points that, as I've been going and interviewing drivers this last few months, has been telling us that these are things that are most important to them. If you look at the ecosystem of what DigitalDriver is, it's essentially a mobile app that's tying to two existing big databases from TPI and Explorer data. The TPI data is the behavior analytics engine and driver retention information that we need. The Explorer data is the information we need for driving records, their history of their medicals, drug tests, and things of that nature. So Explorer is giving us all the information on that side. TPI is giving us the behavior analytics, and we're using telemetry data from the J1939 devices to feed DigitalDriver. Now, let's take a look at a demo. Okay, let's go ahead and open DigitalDriver. So I'll click on the icon. That's going to take me to the login screen. Now here, let's say we forgot our password. We click Forgot Password, insert our email, and it works through a standard workflow of being able to say, reset my password, which will send you an email and a confirmation that says the email has been sent. If you don't find it within your email, to please check your spam folder and retry your password again. Another workflow that we have within here is to be able to register our users. First name, last name, fleet IDs, driver IDs, all the information needed for the TPI OAuth workflow. So let's just go ahead and log in. I'll put my driver ID in, put my password in, and say login. This takes us to a dashboard. Now this dashboard is the dashboard that the drivers will use when they're not driving. So they'll be able to see their dispatch history, communications history, history of engine information passed on from telemetry data, their hours of service, and an explicit navigational schema that you'll see on the bottom of the screen there. Now we can pull a slider out here, and that slider allows us to go to the user profile. So we click on that profile. You'll notice that there's 4 buttons there. Those 4 buttons allow the driver to see the information they need to help them get through their driver's license. As you see here with a deep dive into their driver's license, they'll also be able to look at their drug test history. They'll be able to look at their hazmat CDLs or their certifications, if they have them, and also be able to go back and take a look at their medical certifications. Now when you click on this and you get a deep dive of medical certifications, the interesting thing is, what if I'm on the road and my certification is expired? I need to find a doctor. We added this to the application to be able to go in, search by city, state, or zip code and radius, and I'll put in the zip code and radius here and do a search. And what this does is this allows the driver to actually find doctors or physicians that are close, that are already certified to do the medicals for these drivers. Very huge benefit for our drivers and a big benefit for our fleet customers. Okay, let's go back to the main page. And let's go ahead and look at our driver scorecard. Driver scorecard is the telemetry or the information based on the behavior analytics of the CSA and the driver performer. This is the information we're getting from TPI. We're essentially putting that in and showing it to the presentation layer. This allows the user, the drivers, and the fleet managers to see what the performance of the drivers are on a day-by-day basis. So what about hazmat? If I had a hazmat problem or load, I could go into our hazmat informer and actually start creating a load. So what this allows me to do is say how many trailers, what the order is, and actually lets me go in there and put the hazardous materials that I'll be carrying. This allows us to create the placards that are needed on the side of the vehicles. Here I put in a UN number. It tells me that's a methyl class 3, that it's bulk and marine pollutant. I can actually go back and show that we have the ability to actually show the first responders what the potential hazards of that hazardous material would be. Is there any evacuation processes, emergency response processes, and things like that that the driver would need to tell the first responders. I can also go in and add a secondary load to this. So I'll pick another number, a 3507, add again a bulk weight to that. And when I say load another item, that's a pretty nasty uranium hexafluoride. So I'm now carrying a methyl class 3 and a uranium hexachloride. So I can say that's bulk. I can also say that's a marine pollutant. And when I say next, it allows me to look at all the information I need to do while I'm in transit, when I drop off the vehicle or the load, and what's happening before I depart the shipper. Once I've done that, it comes back and asks me if I'm going to be driving over any water or taking any ferries or anything like that. Once I've done that, it now comes back and gives me all the different placards I need to put on the side of my truck. The cool thing is it shows every placard we need, the information we need about that placard, and the cool thing that we added was how we place those placards on the sides of the trucks. No one else is doing that in the industry today. So that's our quick and short demo of DigitalDriver. If you have any questions, please fire them off. Appreciate it. Thanks. So with the demo, let's look at our status. So Sprint 2, all status are green, front end, middleware, and back end. What we accomplished this sprint was that we focused on the design side. We were able to get the design scorecard done, driver profile, hazmat presentation layer fully complete. The middleware, the AWS server was spun up, the DB was set up, OAuth with TPI and XML endpoints for the scorecard were set up, and in the back end, the TPI and Explorer links were completed, formatting data from TPI, and the parking endpoints were created for us. For Sprint 3, our focus is on design, finish the routing, dispatch, and document scan and e-logs. On front-end development, we're going to finish the detailed screens for scorecard, the routing and trips with local and TPS supplied telemetry data, and the middleware will be to build the endpoints for profile, fleet, and driver. Thank you.